Today is May the 31st, 2022. Go ahead and let these fine folks introduce themselves.
My name is Barbara Sturgis Walker. I was born and raised up the neck on Chincoteague Island. I am the oldest daughter. This is the youngest daughter, my sister, the only little sister I'll ever have.
That's true. She used to love me a whole lot.
Yeah.
And I'm Cathy Sturgis Tolbert. And did you say when you were born?
Yeah. No, up neck.
I was born up the neck. Well, not really. In Salisbury Hospital, but we're considered up the neckers. Yeah, so.
Tell us about, what's your first memory growing up there?
What's yours?
Well, one thing, remember when I used to have that rag doll?
Yeah. Oh,
and
yeah.
I got sick.
She had a rag
A
doll.
little rag doll I would sleep with. And evidently I was allergic to it. And I fell out, and my mom, Gerda, who lived next door to us, I guess we just had like one car or something.
Yeah.
And I fell out in her arms like I wasn't breathing. And she said, well, get this child to the doctor. And they did, but Barbara, that's why she says it's the only little sister I'll ever have. Because that's what she said. She
That
thought
was a
something-
mistake.
I know. She wished she never said that. She can't get rid of me now. But so that was sweet. That was really, really young. I don't remember when you through the Stanley. You used to get these little gifts from, that like people would come and sell things to your house, like Stanley
Products.
vacuums and stuff.
Yeah.
And it was a little metal ashtray. Mom said that she threw it and hit me in the head. In my crib, so that was a
Yeah.
welcome for me, I guess.
Oh, I
And we were-
remember, like, growing up when I was real little, I didn't want to stay in my crib.
Oh, Lord.
And, well, my mother would be in jail if she done that nowadays. I wouldn't stay in my crib. I would always get out of my crib and go downstairs, and they have to put me back upstairs in the crib. I think after about 20-some times, Mom took a belt, didn't she? And tied my foot or something to the crib so I'd stay in the crib. And I was so mean, I guess, when I was first growing up.
We had a fence around
Yeah, we had a fence around the house.
my mom and Papa's.
Between our grandparents lived next door to us. So we had a fence there. And they had a lock on it, so we wouldn't go over there. And it was a high fence. Well, I would just lean over the fence, hang by my feet, and unlock it. And then Mom said one day, where are you going? I said, I'm going over the Wildcats, because my mom called me a Wildcat.
Yeah.
So that lock didn't last on the fence with us, did it?
No, I didn't figure how you could. Why did you unlock it? You could just fall over the fence if you had to.
No, I just hung over it and unlocked and come back down. So,
But when we got a little bit older.
Tell us about going out on the boat with your dad, fishing and hand line.
oh,
Well-
Cathy, she was particular about that, weren't you?
Yeah, because I just loved to have that hand line, and I would go just like this. We would go to get gasoline for the boat there at the bottom of the bridge. I think it was a Mason. Well, anyway, it's where everybody would gas up their boats. It was the ice plant was up there too.
Uh-huh.
Well, I love to smell the gasoline for some reason.
I know, me too.
And we would go down in the bay, and we'd go flounder fishing.
And we couldn't talk in the boat.
Did you have the rod and reel? You did, didn't you?
Yeah.
But I wanted to feel the fish. I was scared, probably didn't know what to do with the rod and reel. And I always wanted the fattest minnow. That's a minnow for everybody.
Yeah, minnow.
Minnow. And that
really minnows.
wasn't the best minnow to catch a flounder with. And Dad always knew which one you could get a nice one. And so I would wait, and if I didn't want to leave till I got the biggest one. But one day, a blimp went over. A lot of times the blimps would fly
A lot
over.
of times they
And they
fly
would,
over.
they would drop these advertising things. That was like advertise somebody's store or there's paper stuff. So I guess now you say they were, littering. But we picked some of them up, Dad would. But you say, what's that blimp doing? And you see all these white things falling down. And
Did
one
you catch a
time-
fish?
Yeah, you did too.
I always caught fish.
But like you say, we couldn't say a thing.
No, Daddy would get mad.
Yeah,
Say we scared the fish away.
yeah.
So we had to be quiet.
Poland and boat.
And
Holy.
when we used to go
Could
Poland,
we pass a railway?
when we
Oh,
when
yeah,
we
we
were
couldn't go
little,
past. You ever had an old railway?
It was a little boat, but
Yeah.
it wasn't the boat Dad had.
Yeah,
The little boat we could, and the
Yeah.
railway would be deep once you got past that and get into the bay. And then we could get out. Well, I
Yeah.
say swim, but we didn't know how to swim.
We didn't have to
I don't know
swim.
why Mom and Dad is.
And we were allowed to go down there.
particularly
All
were-
the young ones went down there,
I
didn't
know
they?
it.
But Papa could have been to the railway.
Yeah.
His little railway
Yeah.
where he worked, you know.
Yeah. And but
But they let us go.
and we would go and we would see Wayne, our neighbor. He would go in his boat, a little Poland, because he didn't come out and go swimming.
Yeah. Wayne
try
Lois.
swimming.
Wayne Lois was our neighbor. He lived
Yeah.
across the street.
Yeah.
And he knows we're doing this today. And we loved him. He was one of our closest friends.
He is. And
Cathy, tell him about Wayne with
Well-
his BB gun.
well, see, I didn't have. After my friend Jane, I had a friend named Jane Watson, and she moved across to Hampton after 3rd grade. And so Wayne's Barbara's age, but I like to play outside, and I guess you were either up to Leslie's or
Yeah. I'll tell him about her in a minute.
anyway. But Wayne and he had a BB gun, and we were down to the landing. That's what we call where we would play in the water. Get in, pole the boat. It was called a landing, and it was apple trees, those old wild apple trees.
Yeah, yeah.
And he would shoot with it. And I said, well, Wayne, don't kill any birds or anything. He said, I'm not. I'm just trying to see where I can hit pine cones. And well, there was a bumblebee flying. And it was going, and he shot the BB gun. And that bumblebee dropped right out of the air. And I nearly died. And Wayne nearly died, truthfully, because he said, Dave. I said, Wayne, I said, you've killed it, but I have in there, I said, I bet Wayne's the only person in the whole world who's ever shot a flying bumblebee out of the air. He's a good shot, and put him to his death. So, but he played marbles with me. He taught me how to play marbles, like you put this range circle and try to shoot them out. And you had special marbles sometimes.
Yeah.
And I didn't want to lose mine. Of course, Wayne was better. He could do it. He could really shoot good. But he was always nice to me because he wouldn't keep the marbles he won from me. Some he did, but if it was a special one, he would let me keep it. Sometimes I beat him.
Yeah. We had special marbles when we
Yeah.
played. Yeah.
And
Ice skating with Wayne.
ice skate. Well, there was a pond. There was ponds all over Chincoteague.
Yeah,
You would always
it
get
was.
ice. I mean, it's not like it is now.
Yeah, you could
And
just
across
go.
the street, there was a lady's named Ide. I don't know if all her relatives are living or not. Probably
No,
not.
they're dead.
Well, anyway, she lived back that road. We were not allowed to go back there because well, the pond was between her lane and a lane further down, Mr. Cliff Jester's and Emma's and
Yeah.
And it was a real nice one. And I said, Wayne, I can't go down that lane, Miss Ides. Because, see, she's supposed to have had, like, drinking people would come back there and I don't know what else.
Get your moonshine.
Moonshine. So, anyway, so when we would go out and we cut through right before we got all the way to her house. And I would stand there and I'd make Wayne go out first to make sure it would hold, the ice would hold, because I would be afraid.
Well,
Well, he would, because he knew it was going to hold. I didn't, but he had to show me it was going to hold.
Yeah.
So.
She wanted to make sure she wasn't going
And
to
other
drag.
things, he taught me how to play baseball.
Yeah, he did.
And I think sometimes you would go out there, but we put you out in center field because she didn't want to do anything.
I don't play baseball.
But I just, I had to. Anyway,
I know.
it was fun, and we'd go up to.
Wayne was shy.
Yeah, he was.
He was very shy, but he never was around us.
No,
I mean,
because he went to school with you.
yeah, he's my age.
Yeah.
And he would come back the window being up. And
Well,
he'd throw,
when in the summertime you put your windows up over the kitchen, the sink and everything, and you'd put screens in, and you'd have a stick or something to hold the window up, because they flop up like that, and so that was your air conditioner, I guess.
yeah, and he'd throw a pebble.
And if we were eating supper, of course we could hear it, and somebody'd be out in the yard, and we'd hear something hit the house or the window, and we knew it was him, and we'd say, "Wayne, we'll be there in a minute."
Yeah, he would never come in the house.
No, he wouldn't even come to the door.
He never was. We always had, except one time I can remember. Well, twice really. One time he came Halloween and he come in the house, but most time he would be outside. But he would come New Year's Day to get his dime, because all the boys, New Year's Day, they would go around the neighborhoods. And, what are you laughing at? They would go around the neighborhoods, and if you were the first boy there, you never opened the door for a girl. They got money. So Mom would always give him a dime. He would knock on the door for that. Any other time he's throwing stones at the windows.
But it was good luck for you.
Yeah, it's good luck for him. Yeah.
Even now, I want somebody to call me Danny, my son.
Yeah.
The first one to call, or someone, please call me Danny.
Yeah, I know it. That's what you want. Yeah, even now. Yeah. And tell me about the marsh. We had marsh.
Well, see, they dug out.
Yeah, everything's dug out.
Things like you
on
wanted
now.
to play.
Yeah.
They dug out for mosquitoes years and years ago. They dug these canals, and it went right. We were right near the water, so of course it was in front of our house. Just it was like
It's like marsh. It was marshy land.
And then it went up. Well, the
Yeah.
dirt that was left up there that had like that mark. If you go out,
Marsh grass, like.
and the marsh on coming to Chincoteague, you see some of this folded.
Yeah,
grass.
that's what it was.
And it was all soft. We played King of the Hill there.
Yeah, all the neighbors would come play King of the Hill.
For it.
Yeah.
And
Tell me about that.
Well, it's just
you had to stay on the hill.
You had to be the one to stay on the hill, and everybody would push everybody
You
off.
try to get back up.
Yeah,
and,
then we get back up and go
you'd
again.
run down it.
Yeah. Who could stay up there the longest?
But they never pushed us in the water park. on the
Yeah,
other
we
side.
never. Yeah, they go in the water park. Yeah,
But,
we didn't.
Tell me about your friend Jane and the goat.
Oh, Lord. My friend Jane lived, you could walk to her house. I mean, I could go through the back way.
Yeah.
This.
Well,
But anyway, we had a
goat.
goat. I don't even hardly remember this goat, but I put a rope around. Mom said I could take him up to James. So I walked our goat. I don't even know what his name was. We probably didn't
I don't
name it.
either.
Anyway,
I just remember-
I took him up to James, and we played with the goat and everything. Well, when I wanted to go home, I tried to pull on him, and he didn't want to move. And I wasn't real old because Jane left after third grade and moved away. And it wouldn't go anywhere. I couldn't get him to do anything. My mom, or it was either mom or dad, come in the car and had to take the goat and be home. So I don't think the goat got to go with me anymore.
Like the bottles.
Oh, goodness.
The bottles.
Yeah, well, there used to be a man named Mr. Howard Merritt that had a store that we used to love to go to. He was the first owner of the store up the neck. And after him was a man, I don't know, I won't say his whole name.
No, so.
I'll say Jack.
Where was the store?
The store was up the neck. It was,
Everybody on Chincoteague back then, it was little
neighborhood.
sections where you lived. And everybody had one store or two stores. There was a lot of little stores on this island. And that was our store, was up to that, a little bit when we say up the neck, it's further than where we lived.
Yeah.
You know.
But it's not, I mean, we could
But we
walk
went
right
on
to
our
it.
bicycles or walked, you know.
And get penny candy
Yeah.
from Mr. Howard. But when with Mr. Jack, I'll just call him Jack,
Yeah.
he had this store. Well, my friend Jane and I said you could take bottles. If you collect bottles, you can take them to the store and you get a deposit. They'll give you money for it. Because, see, they send them in and get, that's how they got their drinks, I guess.
Yeah.
You always send the bottles back. We collected in a wagon all these bottles and we go to Jack. I guess I have to call him Mr. Jack because we were young then. He wouldn't take them because he told us, he says, I can't take them because you didn't buy those drinks here. So we didn't like that too much. Well, later on we decided we were going to have a lemonade stand. And so we took, I think her mom had some kind of little table, and we fixed the lemonade up. We went and we thought people would go to Jack's store, Mr. Jack's store, and they would want lemonade, so we had cups of lemonade. And here we are, all set up, ready for it. And here comes Mr. Jack out and looks at us. He says, you can't sell lemonade here because I sell it inside. And I think I said, needless to say, that's not a fond memory. He was a meanie, so we didn't like him at all. I mean,
And then there were some neighbors that weren't nice too.
oh my gosh, Freckle Cracker.
Freckle Cracker.
Yeah.
I was scared of him too.
I know, he lived right outside our, like one house over.
Yeah.
I guess he would have a rain barrel too, that's how he got his water.
Yeah.
And I think his name was Block, someone.
Yeah.
I don't know who named him Freckle Cracker. My mom had a fence, my mom Gertie and Pop-Up Jim, between his land and the water. And see, then it was my mom's house and our house was right over here. We just walked right to it. So he would yell if anybody threw anything over on his property or whatever. And I guess he didn't want kids over there.
No,
but
he didn't like kids.
He had a log that went from, I guess he would go out to his boat and he would go over that log. Well, all of us went over that log one day.
Yeah.
And I fell off of it. And all that mud from what they dug out for the mosquitoes. I laid back. And Barbara pulled me out. I bet she wished she left me there. But I got home and Mom said I had minnows in my shoes. And that's minnows, if in case people forget.
Yes, minnows.
Minnows.
Ta-ta.
But oh my gosh, I can remember myself. Oh, it was awful. But she helped me.
Yeah.
Talk about drawing in the lane.
Yeah,
in the
well,
house.
well, you know, back then a lot of the lanes were dirt lanes. And Jane had that nice dirt that was hard and you could draw on it when you could see it. And I'd go up to her house and she'd sit on one side of the lane and I'd sit on the other and we'd make a schoolhouse. And we would play school. She'd have her room over here. And that's the stuff that we did for fun. Instead of having a computer or a phone.
Yeah.
And well, we'd take poles and put a rope around it and we'd pretend it was horses.
Yeah.
And we would ride it like we're riding a stick.
Yeah. And we had a big place at my mom and Papa's, remember, where the oil tank was up on this thing.
Yeah.
And we could climb up on the front of that and it would be like a carriage.
Yeah.
You know.
And nobody ever had that kind of.
Yeah, we'd just climb up there and the oil tank be behind us, and we were just going. We weren't looking at nothing but the height building.
I know.
But, you know, we thought we were doing something.
I know.
We had horses.
Well, we never wanted to go up the attic though.
No, we didn't go up there.
My mom
That's our
said it was so
grandmother's. It was
scary.
haunted.
But
It was haunted.
What about the house that,
oh Lord.
yeah, somebody was.
Well, it was in Jane's. As you went back to Jane's house, there was another house. There's an old man used to live in it. Now, it must have been related to her, but she says somebody was shot dead on the stair steps coming down, and there's blood on the steps, and they can't get it off. She said that they've tried to paint it over. But I really don't think we went to look. But it was sunny and everything, and the house sits right on the lane. And I said, where? And she said, down the stair steps, you know. I said, have you been in to look at it? She says, no. Well, we were both too scared because we tried. We moved over towards it, but we were too afraid. I think I'm wanting to say Josie somebody. It's not Josie Murr.
No, not Josie Murr. I don't know.
Anyway, but I guess he died. I don't know.
All right, we'll talk about, yeah.
Shelley?
Dr. Shelley.
Yeah, Dr. Shelley.
He lived up the neck, way up the neck.
Yes.
And, well, for one thing,
He drove too fast.
yes, well, every time when it was time for Dr. Shelley to come home from work, Mom would want us to be out. We'd have to go out the lane to our, Wayne lived on the road.
On the road, yeah.
And a little boy named Chip was friends with us, but he's younger.
Yeah.
Miss Addie, that was the grandmother. She lived over here with beautiful rose bushes all the time.
Uh-huh.
But anyway, Mom says, come back to the lane. Well, my Mom Gertie, who lived next to us, had a wraparound porch. And you could sit there and the breeze would go. It was really nice. You could hear everything. And we'd sit there and we'd hear something that sounded like a jet plane. And here he comes.
So there weren't many cars back then.
And the time limits was where the high school was. You know, the cop couldn't come. We passed that and get, you know, the county had to get you.
County had
to stop you.
Yeah.
Well, once he hit where the county had to get you, well, he would.
That was it.
Or get you, not get you. And we could hear him coming, and we were just waiting until we could see him fly by.
Yeah, so we could go play.
Yeah, Mom said but he would come and visit. Pop-Pop was sick. He'd had a stroke.
Yeah.
And he would come after work and check Pop-Pop.
Yeah. Daddy would cut his hair.
And Dad would cut his hair, because Dad used to do hair cutting in the service, and he cut for Beanie's barber shop.
Yeah. At
Our
barber shop.
father.
Yeah.
And
He was a barber.
and anyway, they would play cards. He would bring somebody with him, Dr. Shelley, his nurse, and they would play cards with Mom and Dad.
Yeah. Yep.
Before how's
Yeah.
that? Did that sound okay?
Yeah.
I think that
sounds
worked,
good.
didn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, they would play cards. Huh?
You bring a friend.
Yeah. And they would play cards.
But I always liked him.
He
Mom,
was always nice.
and you know, odd that we couldn't go back there. Her house caught on fire.
Yeah, we were older then.
We were
I can
still
see
home.
that far now.
Were you?
Yeah, I can see it.
Okay,
Yeah,
I
I can
can
see that
too.
far now.
We were a little bit
Yeah,
older
it's
when
bad
it-
far.
Did she burn it? I mean, she got burned, but did
She got burned bad.
bad?
Yeah.
She didn't die in it, but a man did die in it.
Yeah, a man did die in it. Yeah.
Do you like seafood because you were on the water?
Yeah. That's what we eat. We lived off the land. But now on Saturday nights we had hamburgers.
Oh my, French fries. Oh, the best.
She eats them to this day. Hamburger and French fries was Saturday night.
Yeah.
And sometimes on a Sunday we would go up US 13 Drive-In.
Yeah.
And they had, and then it's in Pocomo. And they had the best French fries.
Yes,
didn't
they did. They were so big. They were like bigger thrashers.
Kathy would get hamburger and French fries. I would always get roast pork and French fries and orangeade. And Mom would get mad because I would have my orangeade drink before
She
I
would
got the
drink it
meal.
before the lady got the order in.
Yeah, I just loved it.
for the food. And
Okay, but anyhow, we're binging.
well, look, as
Because
far
we're
as
older, we can
seafood-
do that, huh?
Well, I can say this about the seafood. You always liked seafood.
Yeah, she didn't.
When they went fat backing, we would go with Dad fat back, and they had to be real quiet for that. You could hear them coming out of the water. And that
Yeah.
little boat that we had, that's what he
Yeah,
used
get
for
'em in
fat
them.
back.
Yeah.
Well, see,
Nets.
Barbara, she would eat fat back eyes. I know she did at that time. Now she doesn't eat them. She says, do you eat
Not
them?
always. I eat
No.
fatbacks.
But Barbara got, I don't know what kind of fish she ate, but when she was little, a bone got caught in her throat.
Yeah.
And since then, I don't eat fish. She eats everything. I don't eat any seafood other
Because of the bone in my
than crab. When I like crab, why didn't we like crab back? My mom and Pop would pick crabs at the
Yeah.
table all the time.
Oh, I go soft crab today to Pop-Ups and you get a
Yeah.
stick. And then out there in that moss and oh, I never forget it. One time I went with that stick and I got the biggest Jimmy crab.
Oh boy.
Two. with the mama under his
Uh-huh.
hat.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
I mean, they were so plentiful then. I mean, you go
Yeah,
out there and they were
even
just
when we would go
plentiful.
swimming out there,
Yeah,
you
you
have
go
to
with
move
your
away
little
for
stick.
the fish.
You know, it was just fun. And we go clamming, yeah, with our
Clamming.
feet. You know, you put your feet down, get clams up.
And bullfish holes.
Yeah,
you know,
bullfish
because-
holes.
'cause that's what they were trying to get. you
Yeah,
know, and
a lot of bullfish holes out
Yeah,
there.
there.
Yeah, but it was just
Yeah.
wonderful. One. And now her friend Jane, which in the 3rd grade she moved. Well, I had a friend named Leslie. We hated each other in the 1st grade. We did not like each other. But 2nd grade, for some reason, we liked each other. And since then, we have been friends. Even now, we go visit. We wrote for years before you had phones to, you know, and letters and
I would read some of them, she don't know.
yeah, yeah. And Leslie and I, well, we were all poor, but we weren't poor because everybody was poor. But we were rich poor.
We had
you
what we
know?
needed.
Yeah, we had everything we needed.
Our parents loved us.
Yeah, and we did. We had a wonderful childhood.
Yeah.
And we go up to Leslie's, and I'd go up there, and Miss Lucille, one time she would cook eels. Remember?
Well, I went with you that time.
She went with me that time.
Yeah.
And that's another reason she don't eat seafood. Them eels moving around in
I
that
know.
frying
I
pan.
said, what is she? Are you going to eat that?
Yeah.
Who was Lucille?
It was Leslie's mother. Miss Lucille was Leslie's mother, and she would cook eels. And we always had, like when we would go out and play, we knew when to be home.
Yeah.
I mean, it was just, you knew when to be home. And if you were close by, they'd ring a bell.
Mm-hmm.
But up to Leslie's, it was a little bit further, so we'd have to ride bicycles. And so Miss Lucille always fixed us tomato sandwiches. Oh, they were always so good. But anyhow, we had a bicycle club, all of us. Everybody up the neck.
Really far up the neck, just back to the end of it.
Yeah, and they're back to the circle. Well, we had this bicycle club, and we had one rule to get in this bicycle club. Now, this is young. We were young.
Yeah.
So this rule was we had to lay on that Captain Chandler's tombstone. We had to lay on it, and we had to say that saying that's on his tombstone. Are you ready? We're going to say it.
I forgot it.
All right, she forgot. Farewell, wife and children dear. I am not dead, but sleeping here. As I am someday, you will be. Prepare for death and follow me. Still remember that. What good is it to us? But anyhow,
Somebody's written something on the bottom of it.
have they?
Yeah.
Oh, that's probably you.
No.
And so anyhow, well, that was scary. We were
I
petrified.
know it was.
Well, we all had to learn it. We all had to lay on there and do it, and we done it. Everybody in this bicycle club.
And we used to have like a puppet show behind Debbie Merritt's house. Remember
Yeah,
that?
yeah, that's right.
I vaguely
we did.
remember that.
Yeah, we just knew what to do. I mean, Leslie and I, we'd make pine shack houses. You know, like Cathy and Jane would do theirs, and we make
Yeah.
pine shacks from the
Trees, you know.
pine trees, pine shack houses. And we had a little playhouse we could get in and play.
Yeah, Dad got that from
Yeah,
somebody.
and it's just, you just went outside mornings and that was it. You come back in the afternoon.
And one thing in the summer.
That was it. Supper time.
They had a mosquito machine.
Oh, we loved it then.
Well,
It's no
you know,
fun
it was
now.
like white. It was so
It was
much.
that poison in it.
Yeah,
It
it's-
was wonderful.
And when that would come, Mom, we would go out and we wanted to get into it, but say Mom didn't want us to get run over. But you had to wait until it was going out the lane.
Yeah.
And then you would walk through it, you could not see a
You couldn't
thing.
see, it was
You
like-
couldn't see the person next to you.
I know, and it smelled good too, doesn't
Yeah,
it?
that's why we're all dying on Chincoteague.
Yeah, that's why we're dying.
Truthfully.
But we had so much fun.
I know. We're paying
Oh,
for
it
it
was
now.
fun. Yeah, it's not fun now.
And
when it goes
Everett,
by.
Wayne's brother-
You see your next door neighbor when you get in it now. This is fun.
And Wayne's brother Everett ran into the telephone pole. Because he couldn't see it.
Yeah. Oh, it was so
Wow.
much fun. Yeah, it was.
I was about listening to the Sanctified Church people.
Love the
sat on Mama's
Sanctified Church.
porch.
At the neck, it's a small, yeah. And we were sat on my grandmother's porch. they would have their like feast meeting. We call it camp meeting or something.
Yeah.
They would come once a year. Well, we could hear the sing. We could sit there and listen to them sing. And they're singing, it's what is acapella, acapella. It's that they'll have, that's it. They just sing and clap their hands and stomp their feet. And it was just beautiful and we could hear it to my grandmother's. And they still have these meetings once a year now because I still go to them. I love it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just beautiful. And I can just remember that with the Sanctified Church.
And I asked my mom, you know, the one we're sitting on a porch, I said, what are they singing? Oh, little Liza Jane. I couldn't understand. Oh, little Liza, little Liza
Yeah, they
Jane.
sing all kinds of stuff. Yeah.
But they weren't singing that. I don't know.
No, they weren't. And then sometimes my grandmother would take me to Jehovah's Witness. She was a Jehovah's Witness.
Well,
I'd like to go anywhere when they
I
said
would
go.
go.
Yeah, and
Yes,
Cathy
yeah.
would go too. And up there it was time where
Is the
over
barber
top
shop?
where the barber shop is.
now, yeah.
It's over top's where they would meet Jehovah's Witness. And I used to love to go to the meetings with them. And then sometimes my mom would go,
On the mainland.
yeah, and take Jehovah's Witness watchtowers and sell them to people for 10 cents.
Yeah.
Remember, like on the weekends you'd go and I'd
I'd want to
idle
go
them.
because I'd have our little dresses on, and
Yeah.
when you got old enough, you got a little shoe, and this had a little heel. I don't know what they call it.
Yeah.
And I want to hear it clomping on the road as I
Yeah. Yeah, you just go walk. Yeah, that was so much
We
fun.
went, but we didn't turn into Jehovah's Witness.
No, we didn't do that. And we would always go to Bible school
Yeah.
when we were a little bit. Bus would pick you up. They had a bus that would pick you up. You'd go to Bible school. And you always stood out front and marched in at the Baptist church. Each class would march in and sit down. And everybody went to Bible school.
Did you give your grandmother Christmas gifts?
No.
Yeah, we
Oh,
did.
Jehovah's Witness, yeah. They
still-
they don't believe in Christmas and gifts and stuff. And my mom, Jester, was strict Jehovah's Witness, wasn't she?
Yeah, Pop wasn't.
Papa
He wasn't.
No,
Jehovah's
he
Witness.
wasn't. But she was. But come Christmas, she didn't turn down neither present you had for her. And she always gave us
She always gave us my money
for us
to
that had presents.
And she had that little tray that you see some of them now. They have like, they'd hurt your hands if you hit it, like it's like wire.
Yeah,
It was a
yeah,
little green. It was a little green tray.
yeah.
Was it like? And so she
Yeah.
had that.
She did.
I mean, but she
But she didn't tell them she had it.
No.
Ooh.
And but
Heaven forbid.
as she got older, I think she got a little worse. But
Yeah, she got worse by it. She got older. Yeah.
but she was 95 and she had her senses more than
Yeah.
what I have right now.
That's true.
True, I mean,
No.
So I hope we can live that long.
Yeah, I know that. Our grandfather, I got to tell you about our grandfather. He was wonderful.
Yeah, Pop Jim.
Well, after he had his stroke, he couldn't talk. I mean, it was jumbled. He couldn't talk. You didn't know what
They
he was
didn't have the
saying.
help then like they do now.
But when he was sitting on that porch and with some of them youngers or they were right there at that lane doing something he didn't want or something, he would cuss. And you could hear every word it was.
But he never cussed.
He
before
did.
his stroke.
No, he never cussed
he
for his
never, but
stroke.
he did with that.
But he did with that, and you could
He could
understand
get it
every word he
out.
said.
He could get it out. Said, Papa,
Yeah.
he didn't want anybody to throw a shell out of the lane.
No,
that's
could do that.
how you made your lane then.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's
What was
about
his name?
Pop Jim.
Pop-up Jim, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
We would sit out there. He would whitewash his fence with whitewash, whatever whitewash was. It's something you
Yeah.
paint your fence with. And then he'd have his fat back nets out there and he'd be
Be
fixing the holes in
sewing
them.
him up with those
Yeah.
needles.
Yeah.
And see, our brother Tommy,
He was Tommy was
older.
6 years older than me, and I'm 73 now.
And I'm
Yeah, he
71.
was-
He's 9 years older than me.
Yeah.
But he did a lot with Pop Jim.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, he
did.
Learned how to
Live.
live on the water.
Yeah.
He had got a boat. He worked and got a boat.
Yeah.
And Tommy said one time he took his boat around Chincoteague. He wasn't supposed to when he was young. He didn't tell Mom. All the way around he made it, he said, but I didn't let her know. I'd be in trouble.
Flood?
I was in the,
Flood.
in the 5th grade, so I don't know how old that would be. What would that
I was 12, wasn't I?
be? Yeah.
It was just 1962.
I was 11.
It was
It
horrible.
was 61, yeah.
It was the
When
flood.
did you realize something was wrong?
When the water was in the house. No, no.
Well, we always would switch newspapers with my mom and papa. They get one Sunday paper and we get another, and we'd all, when the one finished one, we'd let them take the News American or whatever. We get the Sun.
We were by ourselves.
Yeah, and Mom and Dad were working.
They were working. Back then, they vaccinated chickens. Everybody had chicken houses, and Mom had a chicken crew.
Yeah.
Where people go to mainland or Chincoteague and vaccinate their chickens. So that's where her and Daddy were going. They weren't on the island. They were vaccinating chickens off the island.
Well, he drove the truck for Bunting Seafood, and he gone up Baltimore.
Yeah.
And Mom, of course, had gone on the mainland for vaccinating chickens.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, that night we just stayed to my mom and papa's. We took
Because the
the
tide
crayons.
was blowing.
It started coming in. Well,
Yeah.
I was gonna walk over and change the papers, and I guess put the dog in the porch because the dog wasn't an inside dog, so I started walking over there, and I thought, this is high. I was afraid. So
Yeah.
Barbara was taller, and so I come back, so she went. But then it never went down, and it kept coming up.
Up and up.
Well, my mom had some stuff put on the dining room table here, and she called her other daughter, Mom's sister, Lillian. What was called her Aunt Lillian.
Yeah.
And so when the tide was coming so everywhere that night,
We took a pot of beans upstairs.
yeah, you could really eat them up there. What are you going to heat them up with? Beans? Ew.
Ritz crackers. And Ritz crackers, I remember that.
My mom didn't hang up the phone because she was afraid she'd lose contact with somebody. So her and Aunt Lynn had the phone busy. In the meantime, Mom was trying to drive home to Chincoteague with her crew, but she couldn't because the water was coming on the causeway.
Yeah.
Some of the ladies walked. We got out and walked to Chincoteague, and that was crazy. But Oscar Fox, another truck driver, was taking his trucks off, and he picked Mom up. So they both lost their cars. Dad lost his car that was at Bill Birch's, and Mom lost hers on the causeway. So as it happened, that Oscar Fox stopped to the weighing scales in New Church, and at that time, Dad was bringing this truck through, coming back to Chincoteague. He had, to get weighed, and that's how Mom and Dad met there. And they went. They tried to call my mom, but the line was busy.
Yeah.
Who we talking to? Aunt Lynn up Depot. And they didn't know anything about us.
Till the next day.
Well, it was just about 2 more days.
Yeah.
Because the water came up then. We're upstairs, and I can remember
It was going
Pop
like 3 or 4 steps up the steps.
Yeah, and I can remember hearing Pop say, I've lost everything. I don't know if you remember. The thing saved that house. They had a gate behind the house, and then they had a big one where another taller one behind that, because it used to be a wash house.
Yeah, the wash
And then
house.
another big fence before you went on down to the land. And those fences, they went away, but if not, and he had enough shells under the house for the
stabilize.
foundation, I'm sure.
Because we watched the old house where the people had just moved.
Yeah.
Not too long, the Lappins had
Yeah,
moved.
the Lappins,
And
the
we
whole
watched that fall
apart.
each room. It was
And
bad.
logs going through.
Everything.
And we were in the front bedroom. It was 2 bedrooms upstairs, and my mom and papa were in the back one.
Yeah.
Well, the next day, I think, is when it was just water everywhere.
Yeah, it's just everywhere you look. And
I
we
really
heard a
was
helicopter,
And
didn't
the
we?
helicopter come. Well, you couldn't get the window up. A cat come up on the roof, and we were going to let it in.
Remember the pillow?
Oh, yeah, but we couldn't get it up. The cat.
Well, one day we got up because I was putting the pillow out.
Yeah, that was after we couldn't get the cat up. Yeah.
Yeah.
Barbara was waving it, and I didn't want to wave it because I was embarrassed for this.
She was embarrassed. She was going to drag. She's embarrassed, and I'm going like this with the pillow out the
I
window.
said,
I'm
I said,
12
what you
years
doing?
old.
I thought that meant we were in real dark trouble.
Well, we were.
But anyway, I guess they said they were.
Who come got us in a scout?
Well, our neighbors, Charles and Shirley Lewis, they had a boat. Well, they had to get into it now on land.
Yeah.
They had heard that a Coast Guard duck was coming up.
Yeah, they
pick
call
up
it
the
a
people,
duck,
a duck.
To pick
And
up
if we
people.
come back to the road, they come in their boat to take us out there, and that's what they did.
Yeah, and we got in that.
We got in that, and I think they went up and picked up more people up at Howard Merritt's store because they
Yeah.
were upstairs where
Yeah.
they lived. The
You
people.
had to be upstairs, yeah.
I mean, Ward was.
Everywhere.
And we went to the Baptist church.
And it was cold.
And those days, when you come home from school, you had old clothes that you would put on.
Yeah.
And I had a corduroy little skirt, but my
Yeah.
pants, I just put an old pair of pants, had a slit down the side. Now this is how, and when they picked us up to take us off that duck, to put us to the church steps, I didn't want that man who was holding me to fill that hole in my pants because he would know I had a hole in my pants.
She was like that. She still like it.
But,
I'm going with the hole. She's scared. I don't know.
but anyway, here we are, and we spent the night there.
With 3 people in front of me that were bigger than me, and I was so cold
Yeah,
because
it
they
was
were in
cold.
front of the heater. I remember even where I sat in that church. I remember what pew I was on that side.
I can't hardly remember.
was
I remember we were on
so
some
cold.
side something.
Yep, I remember it. I was
Well,
so
the next
cold.
day, and then my mom and Papa, my mom had an oil lamp, a little short one,
Yeah.
and she gave it to me. Well, I think, and then I looked out the window. Remember, we could see Papa sitting in the truck with Uncle Josh and Aunt Helen, which is Papa's sister who lived up in Depot, and her husband. And I thought, are they leaving us? Remember? No. Well, I do.
Okay.
And but it was, I couldn't believe it. I said, well, see, I guess they'd seen Dad by then.
Yeah.
Dad, people
yeah.
were taking, the helicopters were taking people to Wallops.
You
Mom
couldn't
and Dad, when they couldn't get
come.
up with us, they were staying with his brother in Pocomo. And Dad come over there, Mom, and
They went to the base.
and we weren't coming, and Dad went and got on a helicopter.
And they
they
told
said,
him.
well, look, no, we're not taking people over,
Yeah,
we're taking
they
people
said
off.
No.
He said, well, I'm going.
Yeah.
And there wasn't a man on there that got Dad off that helicopter.
No, he said, I got 2 young'uns over there,
And I'm going.
and I don't know where they're at. I'm going. And they let him go.
I get chills. But anyway,
too.
here he come, and Reverend Britton had a bag. He said, your grandmother says give you this. This is before Dad come. It was her underwear. My mom Gertie's underwear. What are we going to do with that? I mean, I don't understand. I mean, what in the world was she thinking? I don't know. I mean, give us some of our own or something. I don't know. We could put them in the museum if we had them now. But,
I know it from the preacher.
I know it. He didn't look at it, thank the Lord. But anyway, there was Dad.
And he was holding Cathy.
Well, he picked me up, and
Yeah.
Barbara's always said, nobody picked me up. I had
I
to walk through the
know,
mud.
and I got stuck in that old mud. It was,
'Cause it was
real
awfully
like clay
mud.
mud, I call it. And I got so stuck, and I can remember hollering, Daddy, Daddy, I'm stuck, help me. He says, you're all right, I'll get you. And he took off with you.
And that's the end of the story. She's hated me ever since. No, but we all got on well, I put the oil lamp on a shelf in the church.
What would you do with the underwear?
I didn't know. I didn't take it. I don't know. Maybe Reverend Brother still had it. I have no clue. But the oil lamp, I thought, all I could think of is you can't take that on aircraft oil, it'll burn. Well, I was little, I didn't know. I said, well, I'll get in trouble. I want to get off of here. And that was our first flight.
Yeah, it was.
And we went over there, and we had no clothes. Mom they took us to Pocomoke, and we went to Shears and
Clothes.
some outfits, and
We stayed with our aunt and uncle.
And
in
our
Pocono,
cousins.
And our cousins.
and eventually my mom and pop-up came and stayed there too because everybody had to leave.
Yeah.
And
Then
that was
when
like
we
around
went
the
back.
5th or the 6th, and my birthday was the 16th of March. And J.J. Newberry's was the best store. Everybody, we just
Oh,
loved it
yeah,
to death.
yeah.
Christmas time, that was in Pocono.
Yeah.
But we could walk right out there from our aunt and uncle's house. You know, we go to the movies. But I saw a bear, and I thought, oh, it's a big brown bear. And I would love to have it. Of course, it cost, I think, $5. Well, back then, that was a lot.
Yeah.
And when my birthday came, I don't know how Mom knew, because
Yeah,
but that's when I got, they got me for my
Yeah.
birthday.
Yeah. Yeah, when we, yeah.
And we came home, and
Oh, it was awful when we came
yeah,
home.
they lost everything downstairs
Everything.
because nobody was there to put it up.
And food in the freezer, I remember that smell,
Yeah.
all that.
I mean,
I
it came
remember
up
to
three-
get them
it came
shots
up
to the
three-
firehouse.
3 feet. It was about from
Yeah.
that table to that sign,
Yeah,
that
everything
far
was
in the
gone.
house. The water.
But we were to the firehouse and we had to get them tetanus
The
shots.
shots, and it was.
And they
awful.
give us that welfare peanut butter.
Yeah.
And that cheese, the best peanut butter and cheese in the world, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, land.
You have to stir that peanut
Oh,
butter.
I know
'cause
it.
it's
Best
so oily.
peanut butter you've ever
And I
eaten.
said, Mom, I said, why are we getting this? And she said, well, why not? I said, because that's for poor people who don't have anything.
And there we sat.
And she got laughing. Well, we're not poor, but we might need some food. But I'll tell you, the
Yeah.
Red Cross did not help
Yeah.
us.
Yeah.
I'm truthfully,
Yeah.
I mean, it's a good organization, I guess, but as far as us,
Yeah, we've lasted totem pole.
we did. Dad had some people that he knew up in Baltimore by taking
Yeah.
oysters, and a lady had they outfitted my mom's dining room,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
and they gave some kind of little half of a sofa thing we
Yeah.
had, and then they did buy, Mom and Dad did buy a sofa and a chair
Yeah.
from Aiken Brothers, I think.
Right. But the thing of it I remember mostly with me is Easter. Because Easter we always dressed up when we
Yeah.
went to Sunday school. And you always wore a hat,
Yeah,
and you always had your V-stripe it.
and your little gloves.
And your little glass hope. Well, I remember Easter. Mom took me. Now Easter was at the end of March, or maybe it was 1st
Yeah.
of April that year, you know. But went to Kaufman Fisher's in Pocono and got me a black suit. I've still got that black suit. I have still got that black suit, and I've told them to bury me with it. I have kept that black suit all these years, because they didn't have the money to buy that black suit or that bear, either one, did they?
No.
But we got them, didn't we? We did. You know, and those memories you just, you know.
One Christmas, Barbara had a doll baby.
Oh, yeah.
We got, see, I wanted Santa Claus to bring me a doll baby I saw in a newspaper. It looked nice, and boy, you know what that is. And Barbara wanted a baby doll.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I guess I don't remember this, but Christmas time when it came, I loved Barbara's baby.
Yeah.
And she let me hold it. And she was nice to me.
Yeah.
And Mom and Dad took, everything cost $5 then, I guess, because they went down to Silco and they bought this baby doll. And we both still had these baby dolls.
Yeah. Yeah. And
They got me just like yours.
we used to get everything the same. She got a record player, I got a record player.
Yeah.
The baby bed, the baby,
Yeah.
which I don't have my record player. I've still got the baby bed.
But I don't
and the
have a record
highs.
player either. I have the highs.
Yeah, I still got that. But, and then one year we didn't get it together.
was
That
it?
must have been them dolls.
Yeah, and that Mom said she'll not do that again.
Yeah, no, we had to have it, get everything together.
But,
And we had to put the icicles. She'd get mad when we throw it on the
we
tree.
have to do one at a time.
You had to do it one at a time.
We would go get the tree when they were some money off of it. We go to
Yeah.
colonial store part
Yeah.
and we had short ceilings, and so they cut the top out, you know,
Yeah.
and the limbs would go up to like that, and you set a little angel up there.
Yeah.
We had bubble lights all around
Yeah.
it. It was like the greatest thing in the world.
It was wonderful, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And coming down them stairs.
And we wanted
And
to,
our grandmother stayed with us sometimes.
Mama Sturgis,
Yeah.
Oh, I love
our
that.
other grandmother.
That was Dad's mom.
Yeah, she would go with different ones. She had 15 children. 13 lived, but she would spend different times after her husband died and everything, so we never knew him.
No, he died
With the family, you know, and she'd come stay with us a lot.
Yeah.
It was wonderful when she was out.
We loved it, yeah.
Then we had an aunt and uncle we were close with. That was Daddy's sister.
Aunt Mary.
Yeah, and then another aunt,
Cat.
Aunt Cat, and she would always come over and babysit
Yeah.
some, you know, because I think my mom Jester and Aunt Cat was out in high school on farm. Mom and Dad was out fishing. We don't remember nothing about that, but the
I
bananas.
know
do
it. We thought Mama Sturgis was getting bananas. That's all I remember, getting
Me
bananas out of the refrigerator.
When the house on fire.
Yeah, the kitchen part. And the Coast Guard, Mom and Dad are down by Cape Charles, and they come and they told them your house is burned down.
But it
I mean,
didn't.
well, see, that's how messages get. It didn't, so
Yeah.
I bet they know
But it
it.
burned, they had, you know,
Uh-huh.
in the kitchen. I don't know what caused it. I don't even remember the fire. All I remember is bananas.
That's
Of course, that's all my mom remembered, getting the bananas out of the refrigerator. I don't know why.
But, oh, well, sometimes, did I say about the horses and,
Yeah, it was
Cows or something. yeah, a lot of times, you know, Wildcat had kept a lot-
Wildcat, you know where Wildcat is? At
Well,
the end of the
they
island.
used to have, you know, just horses staying up there.
And hogs.
Yeah, well, the hogs didn't come down.
No, they didn't come down.
But cows, and sometimes if you were being laying out in your yard, maybe getting
Yeah.
the sun or something, and you'd look up and there'd be a horse laying out. Oh, God, let me get out of here, because here come horses behind you.
Yeah, they'd be just going. Oh, where'd they come from?
I guess you'd have to call somebody. We didn't know who to call.
We didn't know. I remember the hogs up there.
And we had phones. We remember the phones like you would
Party
have to one
lines,
party
yeah.
line.
Yeah, party lines, yeah.
I said, well, how do we know when to answer it? I can remember that.
I still remember our phone number. 3366585.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I can't remember my own now.
Well, I'll tell this on Barbara.
Oh, Lord.
Mom had a friend named Miss Bet. We all did.
Yeah.
And Miss Bet would come over to Mom's and talk a lot. I mean, she had maybe a little bit of nerve problems.
Yeah.
Well, one day, Mom would be really good, but she just didn't want to, she didn't have the time to listen that day. The windows were up, seems like it's always summertime.
Yeah.
And we're thinking of this stuff. And so she had all the windows up. Mom tried to get in another room. Well, Barbara was little. And she went to the other window as you go out the road where Miss Bet was going out the road. And Barbara says, "Hey, Miss Bet."
My mom was trying to hide.
And so Barbara invited Miss Bet to come in for a while. And Barbara was a mess. I get this because Mom told me. She put a frog in the pots and pans.
How about when I put peas up my nose?
Yeah, oh good Lord.
Put peas up my nose.
And they swelled up. You
Yeah.
know, the kind, you know how, it's not the ones you eat out of a can. These are ones I guess you're going to
Yeah,
plant.
good
And it
shell.
swelled up, and Dr. Shelley had to wrap you up in a sheet or something.
Yeah,
and
get
cook
'em
it
out.
night before you die. And you went to Miss Betts, and was it lipstick you smeared all over the bathroom?
Yeah, lipstick.
Then I wasn't here, I don't guess. Maybe I hadn't been born, but Mom
She
said,
was adopted
I know, Barbara told me that.
because, and she really thought she was, because when she come along, well, it had been Tommy and then me and then it was Cathy. Well, see, they'd had a camera, they didn't have many pictures. Well, I guess when they had three of them,
My camera broke when I come along, I guess.
you didn't take as many pictures, so we told her
I
she
never
was
had a
adopted.
book. And then I couldn't find my, after the flood, remember, I couldn't find my birth certificate. Well,
Yeah.
all of yours were right here. I said, where's mine?
All in all, good childhood up in that.
Oh, it was wonderful.
We had a great time. It was, we go to the carnival, but we
Yeah.
could go by taxi.
Taxi.
And you dressed up to go to carnival.
Oh, yeah, you dressed up.
Dressed up to go to the
yeah.
carnival.
Oh, you would be so excited. And they had them green shades they pull down so it'd make it dark in your room. So
And we had to take a nap.
we had to
before
take a
we
nap if
got
we wanted to go to carnival. Oh,
Go lay down. Even if you couldn't, you were all excited. You
Oh,
thought-
just so excited
You tried to
to
go
go
to
to
sleep,
carnival.
and you
Yeah.
couldn't. And
Get on that looper. Oh, I loved
Barbara
that
loved
looper.
that. I didn't like it.
She didn't like it. I loved it.
I like
I knew which
the
one
whip.
was the fastest. I loved it.
I said, I'm not getting on with her because she'll spin it. I'm not a daredevil. But
Yeah, we loved the carnival.
and Dad would take us on the Ferris wheel.
Yeah. We just
And people, we could.
we done stuff with family.
Yeah.
You know, like weekends, our aunt and uncle from Pocomoke, they would come down, or sometimes we get in the car, and sometimes we ride to Ocean City. We couldn't do a lot, but we'd have a picnic.
We'd have a picnic. They'd
Before we
have
got there.
alongside the roads. They'd have these
Yeah.
picnic tables.
Yeah.
You know, like little spaces you could
Yeah.
stop, and you take your food like
Yeah.
that.
And sometimes we'd go to our aunt down in Accomack with her kids, Aunt Mary. That's
And-
what you done.
And we go like, you couldn't go to the beach because the bridge wasn't there, but we go into, like everybody else would, go to Little Beach.
Little Beach.
And it's a different Little Beach than they call it
and
now.
Yeah, that's where
And
everybody
they
went.
make fried chicken and
Oh, do you
deviled eggs
cook?
and
Lotus
potato salad and baked beans.
Weren't no rural farms to go get chicken.
No, and you'd have that, and you'd all go, and
Mom was wore out time she got to the beach
Right.
from cooking.
Where was Little Beach?
it's right on the end of the island.
Yeah,
The inlet is huge now,
yeah,
but
yeah.
it used to not be that big. It
Yeah,
used to be a
that's
beach
what
over
we called
on
Little
the,
Beach
Yeah.
when we were growing up.
It's gone,
Yeah,
but and we would go. They'd put poles up and
yeah,
put some kind of sheet or something over for the.
yeah. You always had sheets.
And you'd
you
always
laid
have to be
on.
wrapped up in a towel, change your bathing suit, put back your
Yeah,
shorts.
and after you eat, you couldn't go in the water for what, a half hour?
Yeah.
Get cramped, you die.
Yeah. and Mom had a black bathing suit with white piping.
Yeah, yeah.
And
yeah.
Dad had some kind of cream colored trunks, you know, and it had like fishnet a little bit with fish. But he would be so white on his chest and everything was where he'd work. Well, right then he'd be out still doing vegetables and. Then what would he do then? in the
No,
summer?
maybe the chickens. I
He
don't
raised
know.
chickens then, yeah. Well, he would get out of he'd jump off, he'd be hot and everything. He'd jump off the boat and we'd think he was drying, you know. How are we going to get home? And he'd pop up on the other side of the boat. and sometimes we would go fishing one time and it got fog came in and we broke down. Were you in there then?
Yeah.
And I was saying, well, how are we going to get home? He ought to be more upset, but he wasn't that upset.
Kathy liked to worry.
I know.
She still does, don't she?
Yeah, because you say I have to because you tell me I am. I've always listened to you. But it was, well, somebody came, he knew. I thought they were going to hit us, have to find us because I can't see anything. But,
No, we had a wonderful childhood.
Yeah.
We did. Wonderful childhood. Didn't we?
and you would do Mom would do the dishes, she would wash them, and then we would have to dry.
Yeah.
She would dry half of them, and I'd dry the other half. So if she started first, and I would go in and go dry my last half, I said, "You didn't dry enough."
I know it.
Tommy, like we say, he was older,
Yeah.
and during the flood, well, he was working
Yeah, he was.
in Pocomoke. I think.
Pocomoke,
I think he
yeah,
worked
yeah.
for finance company then.
Yeah.
He used to bring some of his friends around. One of them, Tommy Pitts, got killed, I think, on the causeway, didn't he?
Well, no, didn't he get football?
No,
We were.
no, that was the Maddox boy.
Oh, that's the Maddox boy. Yeah, Tom.
Well, anyway,
yeah, it was,
they came
yeah.
and played cards. Remember when he had all these red dots all over his face?
Yeah, yeah.
And what did he put on it? Fingernail polish, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It looked like he had mercurochrome or something.
Yeah.
And he looked a sight, but he didn't care because I think he was he could bully people a little bit.
Yeah.
A little bit.
Yeah. Like Warner.
Oh, did we talk about the pine cone fight?
No.
Oh,
you
good
didn't talk
Lord.
about that.
Sometimes, but like we had a lot of trees between my house and then Jane's house, and where we made our little forts, you know, with the shafts. But sometimes we'd have pine cone fights where the big kids would become the big boys.
Yeah.
Well, there's a boy named Warner. Well, they didn't bother me.
Yeah.
But Warner got hit in the cheek. He wasn't really nice. Somebody hit him with a green pine cone.
And we were glad.
And that hurt him, and he got, well, it would hurt because if you
It
know what a
would
green
glad.
honeycomb is. He got crying and he went home, and I don't think Warner come back and then
And we were still glad. Yeah, you're like
So-
scared of him. He was,
I know,
yeah,
he
he was a
wasn't-
bully.
He was. I didn't like when he came. But
God
anyway,
bless his soul.
yeah.
So,
But most of them were very nice.
Yeah.
kids, and
I think you covered it.
we've covered everything.
My mom Sturgis, well, that's what I was thinking, that when she would come, she would, I don't know where you slept. I guess you slept in Tommy's room because she slept in your bed.
Yeah, I think I did.
Well, my mom Sturgis had a corset. I
Yeah.
don't know if anybody knows what a corset is, but it has a whole lot of hooks in it. Well, my mom, I was mesmerized about those hooks. And I said, can I watch you put that on? And, because my bed was over here and Barbara's was over here. It was like this. And she said, well, shut your eyes till I get it on, you know. And I did. I never did once peep. She said, okay. And then she'd be like hooking them. It would take forever just to hook and hook and hook. And she had,
It was a lot of
I know
hooks.
it.
Yeah.
I'd like to have that. Now you could put that in the museum with it, with my mom's underwear.
Yeah.